41. As we walked through the forest, I wondered if maybe Aln Mndlshn wasn't really seriously crazy. If it took us a half an hour to get to the city of Lenny, then it was going to take us at least that long for the Wakawakians to get there with their torches. I still didn't know what the torches were for. Maybe Aln Mndlshn was planning to burn down the city. That meant we'd be alone in the city of Lenny with Manny, Mo, and Jack and the Natsulian bad guys and their terrible beast for at least a half hour after the electric horn was sounded. This didn't make me feel too comfortable, especially since I didn't know what Aln Mndlshn's plan was, and he apparently wasn't going to take the time to tell me. Aln Mndlshn had a little map Rolls-Up had sketched for him, and he was constantly checking it and looking for landmarks as we made our way cross-country towards the city of Lenny. He didn't seem to be interested in talking as we walked. The city of Lenny was pretty impressive. Just as Lance Herschelsheimer had described it, it looked like a mountain made of buildings. There was a highway leading up to a gate, and after that an incredibly long and wide flight of steps leading up to a big building that looked a little like the Hogborough Museum. Aln Mndlshn and I stepped onto the road and walked up to the gate. "Who goes there? Who trespasses on the city of Manny, Mo, and Jack?" a voice boomed. "Pay no attention," Aln Mndlshn said. "It's a recording. Rolls-Up told me about it." "Halt, interlopers!" The voice was even louder. "Still a recording," Aln Mndlshn said. "Don't worry about it." We started climbing up the steps. "Beware! This is your last warning!" The voice was really loud. "Pay no attention, and keep climbing," Aln Mndlshn said. "It's just a mechanical burglar alarm to alert Manny, Mo, and Jack that someone is coming." Ahead and above us, I could see the doors of the big building slowly opening. I couldn't see any people. "Prepare to die," the voice said, louder yet. "Let's go, Aln," I said. "It's obviously we aren't wanted here." "Don't worry," Aln Mndlshn said. "They're just trying to scare us." "Well, it's working," I said. "Look," Aln Mndlshn said, pointing. "Manny, Mo, and Jack." Three little men appeared. None of them could have been taller than 5 feet. They all had thick horn-rimmed eyeglasses and were wearing plaid sports jackets. Except for their greenish color, they could have been anybody. They didn't look pleasant, but they didn't look especially scary. "Who dares?" one of them shouted, as in a thin, squeaky voice. He cupped his hand in front of his straw snap-brim hat so he could see us. The sun was behind us. "To violate," another of the Natsulians squeaked. "The sacred city of Manny, Mo, and Jack," the third said. Aln Mndlshn reply surprised me. "We are emissaries of the Martian High Commissioner Rolls-Up, here to discuss matters concerning the Zitkisberry trade." "Oh, wait a minute," said one of the Natsulians. They went into a huddle. "You may approach," they said, "but no tricks, or we will send our pet out to deal with you." We approached. We have been sent to find out," Aln Mndlshn said as they got near the top step, "why you are charging us 12 Martian klakniks per Zitkisberry, while the People's Zitkisberry Collective of Waka Waka is able to offer them for 3 Martian klakniks apiece." "What?" Manny, Mo, and Jack shouted. "What's that you say? 3 klakniks? That's impossible, unless the Wakawakians have a secret store of Zitkisberries, unless they've been saving Zitkisberries out of the generous free gifts of Zitkisberries we present to them. Treachery! The ingrates are trying to undermine our enterprise. Sound the alarm!" One of the Natsulian pirates ran inside the big building and apparently threw a switch because the loudest electronic horn I had ever heard began to sound. "It worked," Aln Mndlshn whispered to me. By the time we were already at the top of the stairs, the 3 Natsulians had brought out chairs and set them up in a circle on a wide, flat place in front of the building. There was also a little table with cups of Fleegics. "Ugh," I thought to myself. "I am Manny," one of the Natsulians said. "And this is Mo, and this is Jack. Kindly sit down and have a cup of Fleegics with us. A large portion of the Wakawakian populace will soon be here, and this misunderstanding will be cleared up. I'm afraid the reason you were offered these Zitkisberries at such an unconventional price is that they are or were purloined Zitkisberries. The ones who offered them to you had no right to do so. We control all the Zitkisberries in Waka Waka and the universe, and we set the price. It will all be cleared up in a very short time." We sat through our second Fleegic ritual of the day. This one was more interesting because at least we had the green Natsulians to look at. It was also fortunate that the pirates had adopted the Wakawakian Fleegix ritual, because it meant a half an hour during which we wouldn't have to answer any questions. I was afraid that they would ask me something about the 12th existential plane on Mars. As it was, the Fleegix ritual didn't last long. The Nafsulian pirates came out of the aesthetic trance before anyone from the forest had arrived with a flaming torch. Manny, Mo, and Jack didn't come out of their period of Fleegix contemplation all fuzzy-headed and peaceful like the Wakawakians. They seemed sort of sharp and suspicious. "How is it that our usual contacts, Dole Up and Wheels Up, weren't sent with this message?" Mo wanted to know. "Doles Up and Wheeze Up are on vacation," Aln Mndlshn said. "That's odd," Jack said. "I've never heard of Martian officials taking a vacation." I can see that you're a Martian," Manny said to Aln Mndlshn, "but your colleague, I didn't catch his name." "Leonard," I blurted out. "Leonard?" Manny said. "That's not a very Martian-sounding name. He doesn't look like any Martian I've ever seen." "He's from the 7th existential plane," Aln Mndlshn said. "He's just with our department temporarily, sort of an exchange program." "People from the 7th existential plane on Mars ought to have gills," Manny said, "since everything there is underwater." "Look!" Aln Mndlshn shouted, and pointed to a column of smoke rising near the gate to the city.